I'm going to tell you a story about someone I know named Joe. Joe's a pretty average guy. Drives his car, plays sports, runs around. Again, pretty average guy. But all of this normalcy changed once Joe got injured. This injury made Joe have to undergo a surgery and a very long recovery. But most importantly, it didn't let Joe play sports anymore. And Joe did not know who he was without the ability to play sports. So during this tough time for Joe, he decided to turn to his friends. But once his closest friends now seemed more distant, they seemed cold, Joe felt as if he did something to upset them. Joe didn't know why, so Joe decided to act out. He decided to act outlandishly, say outlandish things, and do outlandish things, just so maybe he could draw attention to himself, so his friends and peers would reach out and say, "What's going on? You're not yourself." Because Joe was definitely not himself. But this only caused more pain for Joe and drew his friends further and further away. So why did Joe reach out or keep acting out even if he knew it wouldn't work? Well, Joe did this because humans are actually healed through relationships. When humans undergo a tough time in their life, they draw upon their closest peers to help them out during this tough time. But they don't call upon just anyone. They call upon the root people in their lives, because there are only three kinds of people in your life. First are the leaf people. These people come into your life for a season or two. They're there to take what they need, but then they blow away when a wind blows in your life. Second are the branch people. Stronger than leaves, yes, but you have to test them out before you put your weight on them, because they will break away when life becomes heavy. And lastly are the root people. These are the most important people in your life, because they are there to hold you up during the storms of your life, keep you strong, tethered to the ground, and they do things to help you, and they love you because you're just you. For Joe, he assumed that he had a whole bunch of root people in his life, but it turns out he only had one. But Joe also realized something else. Joe realized that there's so much hype and talk about how your mental health matters, and how we need to express and talk about how everyone's mental health matters, but he realized that everyone's all talk. Because when Joe experienced his own mental health issues, everyone turned their backs on him. They left him alone and abandoned. So Joe had to fix himself. So when Joe was up late one night watching a movie, he came across a quote that changed his mentality. This is it.
The world ain't all sunshine and rainbows. It's a very mean and nasty place, and I don't care how tough you are, it will beat you to your knees and keep you there permanently if you let it. You, me, or nobody is going to hit as hard as life. But it ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done. Now, if you know what you're worth, now go out and get what you're worth. But you got to be willing to take the hits and not pointing fingers saying you ain't where you want to be because of him or her or anybody. Cowards do that, and that ain't you. You're better than that.
Now, this quote changed the way Joe saw the world. He decided that he wanted to change his mentality, change his mindset in life. So Joe decided to start small. 2 minutes a day, at the end of every day, he was going to reflect on the day. What did he do good? What did he do bad? And what could he do better? He started this because he wanted to change himself. He wanted to stop seeing the negative side of everything and change and see the positive side of things. But Joe also had a lot of extra free time because, again, he was on his couch waiting for his injury to heal. So in his research, he found some interesting stuff. He found that as humans, when we endure a hardship, we process it in an interesting way. But the way we see the hardship actually determines how we will solve this problem in the solution. The U.S. has actually been in a mental health crisis for years, but I don't think it's actually a mental health crisis. I think it's actually just a mindset issue. Because what we see as a hardship might actually just be a challenge, because what is this? Getting lost in the woods or tearing your Achilles in Game 4 against the Knicks? Shut up, Stephen. These are all things that make you a mentally tougher person, and these are hard things. You can't give this to someone else and make them help you solve your problem. You have to solve this problem by yourself. So this does make you a mentally tougher person and helps you out. But again, challenges. Whether this is a math test you're not prepared for, or going to the gym when you don't want to. Check out my friend's TED Talk, he talks about that. If we do these hard things when we don't want to, it actually makes it easier for us to do hard things when we don't want to. But during a hard or difficult activity, your brain processes it primarily in the thalamus and the cortex. Now this portion of your brain is where you sense what is hard and easy. It's what you see as what is hard, this activity is hard and I want to stop doing it. And this also sends those negative thoughts saying, I'm not strong enough, I can't do this, I am too weak, to the prefrontal cortex. And these thoughts dominate your inner monologue and destroy your progress. But if you decide, no, we're going to think confidently and positively and say, I can do this, I am strong enough, I am worth it, it actually helps you out more than you will know. And athletes actually use this a lot to help them. Because a quote from Peak Performance actually states that an athlete's mental toughness is the bedrock of athletic mindset. It refers to an athlete's ability to remain resilient in the face of adversity, to stay focused on their goals, and to perform at their best under pressure. Athletes use this, and it sets them apart from other athletes around them who are falling victim to a poor mentality after losing a game, not performing well in a game, or getting injured. The way they stay positive sets them apart from other athletes, as I just said. And numerous pro athletes have actually spoken about how their positive mindset has helped them. And this helped Joe a lot, because Joe, who once used to be an athlete, found comfort that pro athletes that he looked up to felt the same way as he had. He couldn't talk to them directly, but he knew they felt the same way as he had. So Joe actually realized that after starting his 2 minutes a day routine, that he actually started feeling better about himself and that his injury really didn't hurt so bad. But Joe still kept digging, and he actually found that a confident mindset reaches his hands into the medical field. A study done by Johns Hopkins mentions how if you have a positive, confident mindset, it can actually increase your lifespan. The study stated that people with a family history who had the most risk factors for coronary artery disease and positive people from the same general population were 13% less likely to experience another heart attack or other coronary event. Now this means that if you decide to stay positive throughout an injury or some other debilitating disease, you can actually increase your lifespan just by thinking positively and not letting this define you. But you may think that it's not possible to let yourself run faster or recover from an injury faster just by thinking a whole bunch of positive thoughts. And while you're not wrong, just like the quote before, the world is not a nice place. It's going to beat you down and it's going to hit you with everything it's got. But if you know that there's going to be sadness, pain, suffering, and just terrible times in your life, why would you walk around being miserable? Why would you give in to what the world wants you to do? Why not just be happy? It's better to love, experience, and live the most you can live in life. You may not believe this evidence, but it could make you run faster. It could make you recover from an injury faster. It could help you in many ways that you might not even be thinking about right now. But I know for Joe, he wanted to do everything he could to help himself be better and do better with his injury. So why not use every resource you have, including your mind, to help you recover from this terrible time? It's worth a shot and it can't hurt you, right? Now Joe is still messed up. Still working on himself 2 minutes a day, striving to make himself a better person. And yeah, he still messes up all the time, and he keeps doing it. Well, he can't just say sorry, but he does keep working on himself. But Joe wanted to tell his friends how he felt and how he was during this terrible time in his life when he actually contemplated if he should keep going or just give up. Well, Joe's still here, standing right in front of you, talking to you about the thing that he did not want to talk about anyone. Because guess what? He's going to be a big, bad military man. And it's hard for him to talk about his mental health and how he was struggling. But he thought he should at least tell his friends and how he should be stronger in himself. He's not happy that he has to tell them. He's a little embarrassed, but he's happy that he did tell them and that they know how he felt and how he fixed himself. So let's change our mindsets together and think what we can do, where we came from, and what we can excel with the power of our minds. Thank you.